Very good afternoon, everyone. To begin with the technical seminar, I'm Hemant Rajel from 8th semester. And before starting into the stuffs or technical stuffs, I would like to quote that why exactly we got this subject as a technical seminar, because there are a lot of technologies we'll be viewing or we will be going through in these four years of engineering, and somewhat different new technologies will be developed in the entire world also. Just not to become the bookworms, we have to get the ideas what exactly the world is going on. For all those things should be known for us as an engineer. So this technical seminar is kept for us, and I think viewing that in our mind, there were very evolving methods or very evolving technologies, maybe in medications, maybe in hospitals, maybe in cryptography. All those things were done. By considering all those things, what I felt under the guidance of Professor Onraju sir, that this ADAS, I mean, there were a lot of car accidents taking place in the present world, and many were losing lives. Of course, now due to Corona and this pandemic diseases, most of us are losing lives. But these accidents were also one of the major factor of losing the life in the real world. So, in order to avoid those accidents, there were many technologies which were booming. In those technologies, this ADAS, adaptive driver assistance system, is one of the important concepts. So I have chosen one of the topic of ADAS as forward collision warning system. And of course, this forward collision warning system, as the name itself says, when there is an object or another vehicle which is present in front of your car or your vehicle, which may result in collision or accident, in those situations you need to be warned, or it need to take some actions. All those things should be done. This is what forward collision warning system. And I have chosen that is based on connected V2V communication. V2V is nothing but vehicle to vehicle communication. There were various technologies using some monocular cameras and other those things to do this forward collision warning system. Out of those, I have selected V2V communication. Why? I will say it at the last in the conclusion session, while comparing it with the other papers. To move on further, and this exactly is the contents or which I am going to cover in this 30 or 40 minutes of session. Introduction, literature survey related work, some of the work which is related to this ADAS is done in the entire world. Proposed work, what exactly this paper says, what is the flow of the flow of the techniques which is undergone in this paper. All those things will be covered in the proposed work. And functional details of the system, there are various functional components in the system. How exactly all those components work, what is the techniques or what are the methodologies which is used, all those things will be explained in the functional details. Field test setup, this is one of the reasons which I have selected this V2V communication or this paper as my presentation, because they have done, actually this paper was presented after doing the experiment in Wuhan, in China in 2019. They have done some of the field test experiment. After it succeeded, about they have done it in 600 meters. After it succeeded, they have proposed this paper. So this is one of the reasons which have selected this paper. And result analysis, comparison with the different scenarios or different technologies, how exactly this system is good, conclusion, scope for improvement, and references. To begin with the introduction, as I said before, with the rapid increase of car ownership in the world, the road safety has become increasingly severe. Many are losing their lives. About, according to WHO, 1.35 million people die each year due to these road crashes, and approximately 20 to 50 million people will suffer from injuries. This is the picture of the whole world. If you come to the Indian picture, in India, about 3 lakhs accident takes place a year. And in 2019, it's about 3.2 lakhs accidents, and 1.3 have lost their lives, which is nearly equal to population of the cities like Darjeeling, etc. So it is clear that we are losing a city each year due to this car accident. So the people, the technologists have taken this as a severe problem, and they have to find a solution for this and work with. And to solve this problem, I think ADAS is one of the best way. It is used by Texas and other automobile industries also. And yeah, coming to the ADAS, it is nothing but advanced driver assistance system. This ADAS, the vehicle, what exactly this ADAS technology, or to give the quick overview of ADAS is, uh, in ADAS technology, the vehicle or the car itself grasps the surrounding information in order to realize the safety and comfort of the driver. It accurately displays and the warns the driver that the accident may happen, the collision may happen, the car is in back of the, or the car is following you. All those things, information is given to the driver, or warnings are given to the driver. And you all know that some of the advertisements were given, and some of the new technologies are coping up. That is automated vehicle. That there will be driverless car driving the car. All those things are taking place. For this autonomous system, also this ADAS plays an important or major role. And you may view this diagram or the chart where there are various technologies like parking aid, pre-crash, adaptive cruise control, collision warning, collision mitigation, blind spot detection, lane change assistance, rear crash, and parking assistance. All those things are various subparts of this ADAS technologies. And out of which Likith have previously explained adaptive cruise control. I will be explaining forward collision warning system now, and the other two persons will going to explain the parking assistance and night vision, all those things. Just to give the overview of all these technologies, adaptive cruise control is nothing but when there is an accident happening, how the driver should be assisted to move, at which angle he should pull those screws. All those things happen. How the brake should, at what pressure the brake should be applied. All those things will be covered in adaptive cruise control, which Likith have explained in detail. And forward collision warning, this it is what my topic is. Here uh, the driver will be assisted that whenever there is a collision happening, or there might be the chance of collision happening, he will be warned, or he will be sent with the warning pop-ups, so that he could take the control of the car. This in the case of the normal scenario. When it is autonomous, there will be a virtual driver which applies the brakes, or move to the move to the different lane, or changes the position of the car as a reaction for that warning messages. This is what a quick introduction of ADAS and its other technologies. And as I said, V2V, vehicle to vehicle communication, is one of the methodologies which are used to achieve this. What I've said, forward collision warning system. Yeah, what exactly is vehicle to everything? There are different kinds of communication. You can view the picture that, as it clearly says, the vehicle or the car is connected to the vehicle, which vehicle to pedestrian. It means it is connected to the pedestrian also. If there is a pedestrian walking towards the car will be knowing it due to this connection. And vehicle to network, there will be a tower, it will be connected. And vehicle to infrastructure, there might be a different infrastructures, maybe the footpath, or maybe the light stamps, all those things, and also the traffic signal lights, all those things are connected to the vehicle. And vehicle to another vehicle, when other vehicle is approaching towards it, it will be get noted of. All these things are present in vehicle to vehicle communication, or vehicle to everything communication. And why exactly this vehicle to everything or vehicle to vehicle communication means? Of course, since I am proposing the system that is forward collision warning system, what are the different things which the car might collide with, or the vehicle might collide with? It is simple. It might collide with the people, or the pedestrians who are walking. So it need to be connected with the car, so that when the pedestrian is near, or the chance of collision happening to the pedestrian, the or the driver needs to be warned. So the vehicle to pedestrian, there need to be connection. And vehicle to infrastructure, You may know while many drunk and drive cases, there might be chances of hitting themselves to the maybe the divider or other things like light stamps, all those things, just to lose their lives. All those things are happening. So the collision might happen with these infrastructures too. So in keeping that in mind, the infrastructures are connected to the vehicle. If the vehicle is approaching towards the infrastructures and there might be the chance of collision, the driver will be warned at that scenario also. And vehicle to vehicle, obviously, normally the accidents happen between two vehicles, so that this vehicle should be connected with the another vehicle, which might be when the collision or when there is a chance of accident, it should be noted of. This is a quick overview of vehicle to distance, vehicle to vehicle or vehicle to everything communication. And in this paper, how exactly vehicle to vehicle communication happens means DSRC. DSRC refers to dedicated short range communication. In the when I said the vehicle is connected with the other vehicle, or when it is 2 kilometers apart, there is no need to be connection between these two vehicles. So there will be a communication or connection between the vehicles or between the infrastructures which is very nearer or which is in the short range. That is what the dedicated short range communication means. And then comes the DGPS technology. DGPS is nothing but dynamic global positioning system. You have been heard of GPS, global positioning system. It is one advanced method of global positioning system, the GPS, that is DGPS, dynamic. When when the person is static, you might find the exact location, that is latitude and longitude of the person. But when he is moving, all those things, this DGPS is more accurate compared to GPS. And yeah, GPS is used in many papers or many related work previous in other work which have said, and I'll be dealing it with the literature survey. And DGPS has got much accuracy compared to those technologies or those GPS things. So we have used DGPS to locate the exact position of the vehicle. And of course, the message, when the vehicle is present in front of it and there is a chance of collision, the vehicle should be getting the warning messages. Where does the message come and where it will go? All those things should happen. There will be sending and receiving of the messages. This happens to BDS. um, this is what happens. This is what pop-ups will be given to the driver uh, to know that there is a chance of collision. All those things will happen using these technologies. And other connected vehicles, this helps the other connected vehicles to identify the potential dangers and react accordingly. This is the quick introduction about about the technical paper or about this project. Coming to the literature survey, as I have said, I have gone through various papers. Out of those, one of the paper is vehicle detection for forward collision warning system based on cascade classifier using ADA-Boost algorithm. Uh, Coming to this paper, yeah, it was published in the year 2017. Uh, yeah, this paper actually, in this paper, what happened is they have structured an algorithm called ADA-Boost algorithm, and they have used some monocular vehicle camera, which is used to identify or detect the collision happening near it. If there is a car approaching towards it, then it will be able to detect. And to detect, they have to program the camera in order to detect it, right? So they have used some active learning frameworks to train the system, and they have used cascade classifiers. And here they have used two-step of vehicle detection. What are these two? And also they have used 5 test data to quantify the detection performance, and analyzed this two-stage detection improvement, and overall detection rate and false detection rate are also being calculated in the result. And what exactly it says is, as I said, the 2 steps of vehicle detection is taking place. One of it is hypothesis generation and hypothesis verification. uh, hypothesis generation is nothing but this classifier has to be trained, right? For that, there should be some generation of the hypothesis, and for this hypothesis generation there was high detection rate while this phase. But when it comes to the hypothesis verifications, there was some false detection rate is high. I mean, when there is no chance of collision happening, also the system was predicting that there will be a chance of collision. And this not only results in when the driver gets the message that there is a chance of collision, he will automatically react to it. But if it is false, and if it is more if it is more, I mean, out of 10 times, if it is detecting 3 times, that is false rate is high. I mean, 3 times when there is no chance of collision, it is there might be a chance of collision. The driver will react. But after 3 to 4 times, he might also get depressed. I mean, since he might take a chance that he will not react. But in that time, there may be a chance of collision, and accident may happen. So the false ratio, I mean, the false detection rate was high. This is one of the disadvantage of this system, that is 2018, 2017 publication. So moving next paper is dual mode forward collision avoidance algorithm based on V2V communication. Here they have used V2V communication, that is vehicle to vehicle communication. And in this algorithm, I mean, in this system, it was alarming the driver. That is, when there is some chance of accident happening, it was alarming the driver. But they haven't implemented it practically. They just simulated this experiment using MATLAB and Perscan software. So the simulation results were very good. There was less false detection rate, and the overall detection rate was very good, and the approximation and accuracy was also good. But since it is simulation, we can't depend on always on the simulation result. So they moved on further for the further research. And the next paper is real-time forward collision using nested Kalman filter for monocular camera. Yeah, why only V2V technology? There are various technologies, as I said before, some machine learning technologies, some camera using image processing technologies. We can solve this problem. Thinking of that mind, they have used nested Kalman filter for monocular camera. This paper was published, and in this paper, there was they have created this paper was aimed to create a real-time forward collision system for vulnerable road users. You might ask for the scenarios where the whole system, that is V2V technology, can't be affordable for the simple motorcyclist, all those things. For those, by using a single mobile device, they have created this system. That mobile device was helping the cyclist to give the information of the vehicles around it, and it was predicting and it was detecting there might be a chance of accident. It was predicting all those things, and time to collision was also created, or was also calculated in this experiment. And the algorithm they have used is YOLO, you only look once, for the detection of the vehicle. What is the disadvantage of this paper is, of course, the accuracy rate was not much or feasible compared to the other experiments. So the moving on with the further paper, research on forward collision warning system based on connected vehicle to vehicle communication. This is what the paper I have been selected, and I have researched on it. And in this paper, we have used dedicated short range communication. As I said before, the vehicles which are present around the system or around this car or around this vehicle will be detected, and it will be recognized, and its position, its other acceleration, all those things will be given or sent to the driver, all those things. And this includes improving the vehicle safety to reduce the accidents. Obviously, the system all we have designed are designed to improve the efficiency and reduce the accidents. And here, the time to collision and collision avoidance range, at what range the collision might happen, all those things will be calculated, and it will be saying or it will be warning the driver if there are chances of accidents. And mainly we have used V2X, that is vehicle to everything, to connect or to send the messages for the different vehicles or infrastructures. Yeah, this is what about that literature survey. And this is next slide is related work. What are the related works regarding ADAS, that is Advanced Driver Assistance System? It includes forward collision system, blind spot detection, lane departure warning, etc. For blind detection, the cameras are usually mounted at the side of the vehicles. The ego is nothing but an example of the vehicles which they have took or experimented, pointing to the rear end and front end, and to convert the detected vehicle's position to one-dimensional signal information are also done. And most of the researchers use ROI, region of interest, to reduce the computational time. This is regarding with blind detection. I mean blind spot detection. The other technologies or the other works or lane detection algorithms. I mean, I think the Kishore will be explaining deeply regarding this lane detection algorithms. This helps in lane departure when while you are shifting the lane, while you are crossing the road. All those things at that time, this algorithms takes an important role. And convergence point and inverse perspective mapping are two methods used to detect lanes and estimate vehicle distance based on offset values. These are the two techniques which there will be used in using in lane detection algorithms or lane detection or lane departure warning systems. And coming to the various technologies which were implemented regarding this forward collision avoidance system, is one of the important is lidar and radar, ultrasonic cameras, ultrasonic sensors, cameras. All these sensors were used in the system in order to detect whether the car is present or whether the vehicle is present around it. All those things were calculated and detecting the position of the vehicle, and to know the velocity and acceleration of the vehicle which is beside or in front of it. These technologies were used, but what is the disadvantage of these lidars or radars are obviously these lidars and radars.
ಹಲೋ ಹೇಮಂತ್ ರಾಜ್, ಹಲೋ
Yes, sir.
ಹೇಮಂತ್ ರಾಜ್, ನೋಡಿ ಸಾರಿ ಟು ಇಂಟರಪ್ಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಲಿಟ್ರೇಚರ್ ಸರ್ವೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೇನೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಟೈಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಮೈನ್ ಕೋರ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ.
ಸರ್
ಮೇಜರ್
ಮುಗೀತು,
ಟಾಪಿಕ್
ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್
ಆಫ್
ಅದೇ ಈಗ
ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್
ಇರೋದು.
ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
Yeah.
ಓಕೆ, ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 20 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗೇ ಹೋಯ್ತು. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ 40 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ಹಾ, ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ. ಓಕೆ, ಮಾಡಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ.
Yeah, these are the various technologies which are used or currently they are. I mean, previously they were used, and comparatively, these performance were less compared to the present V2V communication. This is what the proposed work is. Based on the connected V2V environment, it is combined with the DSRC communication technology, and using the DGPS, the high positioning technology is used to position or used to locate the vehicle at what point it is present, and all those things were implemented in this FCW system, that is forward collision warning system, to promote the practical applications of forward collision warning in this paper. And what is this DSRC technology? It is specially used for vehicle communication with low communication delay and high speed data transmission. Yeah, this is why we have used DSRC technology, which it has very low communication delay. There is no communication delay while communicating with the other vehicles, and the data transmits very fast, or it is very speed. So we have used DSRC technology in this system. And yeah, by installing this onboard equipment to the vehicle, the system transmits the data. The data is nothing but the position of the vehicle, the acceleration of the vehicle. All those things are the data of that vehicle. It transmits this data. Here in this work, we have considered two main vehicles, that is a remote vehicle and the host vehicle. Host vehicle is nothing but the vehicle this onboard equipment is fitted it, and this remote vehicle is nothing but other vehicle whose data is transmitted. The data of this remote vehicle is transmitted to the host vehicle using V2V communication. After the transmission, it calculates the time to real time TTC. TTC is nothing but time to collision. At what time the collision might happen? In 2 seconds, the collision might happen. All this is nothing but TTC. This is calculated using a formula which I'll be dealing in the next slide. And collision avoidance range. If we move around 15 centimeters, you can avoid the collision. This is After that you can't avoid the collision. This is what the collision avoidance range, CAR means. This is calculated between the vehicles, that is nothing but the remote vehicle and the host vehicle. And obviously, if the collision avoidance range is very less and time to collision is also very less, then there will be a chance of collision, then the warning will be sent. And these warnings are sent on three different scenarios. One is there might be a chance of just having a vehicle in front of your vehicle. At that time, there is at that time, if that means if there is much distance between around 3 to 4 meters, or 10 to 15 meters of distance between the two vehicles, obviously the collision range or the collision chances of collision is less. At that time, just the warning will be pop up, that is first stage, that is there is a vehicle in front of your vehicle. These types of pop-ups will be given when this range or the distance between these two vehicles are very less. I mean, when the forward vehicle, the vehicle which is in front, is comparatively low speed compared to the vehicle which is behind, then the chances of collision is more. So at that time also, the second pop-up will be given to the driver, that is the chances of collision is more. And during the third phase is there should be a rapid response from the driver, because the distance between the forward and the leading vehicle, I mean the two vehicles, is very less, and the chances of collisions is very more. There has to be sudden decision or sudden response from the driver. If it is autonomous, obviously the braking system will work autonomously, and then the brakes will be applied. This is what the exact flow of the proposed work. To go in detail into it, this is the architecture of the connected vehicle platform. As I said, onboard equipment which is fitted in the host vehicle, and using DSRC communication. This is RAC is nothing but roadside equipments. Maybe those infrastructure or other vehicles, all those things are nothing but RACs. Using DSRC communication, they both will be communicated. Their exact position, all the data of it will be transferred through it. And using TCP/IP protocols, it will be transferred to traffic signal controller. Using TCP/IP protocols, the entire messages or all those things will be communicated. And display terminal is used in the host vehicle to display the pop-ups. Maybe the warnings, that is first stage warning, you need to slow down. Second stage warning, there is more chances to the accident, you may switch the lane. And the third stage is you have to respond as fast as possible, as the chances of accident are very high. These pop-ups should be displayed, so the display terminal is used. And all those things are connected with Wi-Fi. Thus all these things are connected and interconnected with each other to work or to make the system work. And to coming to the flow chart, how exactly the work will flow is first, the motion status of the adjacent vehicles or the other infrastructures present around this host vehicle is calculated. It is nothing but its latitudes, longitudes, and using DGPS, very accurate position is calculated, and using DSRC communication, it is sent to the onboard equipment. Using the data, that is the speed of the car which is present in front of it, or position of the car which is in front of it, using those data which is sent from this DSRC communication, they will calculate the relative distance between the host vehicle and the remote vehicle. And if the relative distance is less than the safe distance, I mean, there will be a fixed distance which is called a safe distance, which says that there might be no collision happening. If the relative distance is less than the safe distance, that means the distance is less, then the collision might happen. At that time, the warning will be triggered, and or it might be the warning, or it might be the voice alarm. In this case, or in this paper, they have implemented for a display terminal warning. This warning will be triggered and shown to the host vehicle's driver. If not, if the relative distance is greater than the safe distance, means there might be no chance of collision happening at that time. Then they will calculate the time to collision between the vehicle and the front vehicle of that lane. This is what exactly I told about second scenario. The first scenario, there might be a vehicle present in front of you, but there might be no chance of collision. But when there is a chance of collision, when the front vehicle which is suddenly slowing down and your vehicle speed is high comparative with that vehicle, then the chances of collision might happen. At that time, we have to be ready with the reaction, right? For that, time to collision between these vehicles will be calculated, and it will be sent. If time to collision here, for example, they have fixed it for 2 seconds. If it is for 2 seconds, then again the warning will be triggered to your driver. There is a chance of collision. You slow down, you apply the brake, or you shift to the other lane. All those things warnings will be shown. If there is no chance of collision, again the time to collision is calculated in each and every period of time. This is exactly the flow chart of this system. Moving to the functional details of the system. For these functional details, we have considered four main aspects. That is, vehicle broadcast message. What should happen, or what the system should decide when the vehicles are present in the opposite lane. When the vehicle is present in the opposite lane, also it will be appearing in front of you. At that time, the false alarm may be detected. In order to avoid that false alarm, what should we do? This comes under this. And distance calculation, what exactly the distance between front vehicle and the remote vehicle and the host vehicle. All those things is considered as the functional details. To explain the vehicle broadcast message, this is one typical example. It will be containing the ID, timestamp, sender's IP address, current location of that sender, and previous location. For each seconds, there will be varying of the location, right? Using DGPS data, this message will be generated. Not only current location, there might be the other information like its acceleration, its steering rotation angle. All those things will be sent as a message or vehicle broadcast message to the OBE. Next, exclude the vehicles in the opposite lane. This is one of the important criteria. When the vehicle is present, or when two vehicles are moving further, if they are in the single or the same lane, there might be the chance of collision. But when the vehicle is coming from the opposite lane, there is no chance of collision unless the driver or the car, this vehicle moves towards it. If they are both are moving in the opposite directions parallelly, there might not be a chance of collision. And at that time, the system should not trigger the alarm to the driver, because it increases the false alarm rate. To reduce this, what will happen is, you can see the diagram. Host vehicle is present and the another vehicle is moving in the opposite lane. At that time, the theta will be calculated as shown in the figure. According to the position of the opposite vehicle and this host vehicle, its driving vector will be calculated. If this theta is, this vector translation is in the range of 0 to 90 degree, that means the both are in moving in the same direction. Then the chances of collision is there. Then the vehicle or the alarm will be triggered. But when the theta is beyond this range, then obviously there might be no chance of collision, because they both are obviously moving in the opposite direction in the opposite lane. So then the voice or the alarm should not be triggered. This is how they will exclude the vehicles in the opposite lane in order to reduce the false alarm rates. And distance calculation, as I said before, getting the data from the DSRC, the distance or time to collision will be calculated between those two vehicles. How it is calculated means, FCW system calculates according to longitude and latitude of the coordinates which is given by the DGPS, and it obviously gives the coordinates of HP, the host vehicle as and the remote vehicles. And considering Earth as a complete sphere, and if you observe this figure, that is Alclad formula, there is a point that is distance between these 2 points. One point is considered to be a host vehicle and another point is considered to be the vehicle, and distance between these 2 points should be calculated. It is calculated using the formula that is arc length. Arc length is nothing but the distance between these 2 points, which is practically the distance between the host vehicle and the remote vehicle. And its formula is 2 pi r theta by 360. And if we simplify this formula, the formula reduces to distance is equal to pi r into 1 by 180 into sine omega a and sine omega b. Please, this formula you may see this clearly. And here omega a and ja are nothing but the latitude and longitude of the position A, and A is referred as the host vehicle, and JB and omega B are longitude and latitude of the points B, that is position of the remote vehicles. Using this formula, the distance is calculated. And coming to the next functional detail, that is trigger algorithm. When the algorithm or when the trigger message should be sent to the driver. As I said before, if the time to collision, as we have seen in the flow chart also, if the time to collision is less than or equal to 2 seconds, and this distance between the host. Moving on further, this is field test setup. As I said before, they have experimented in the field and then they have proposed this paper. So have to, if you look into that, they have considered this field setup was tested in Wuhan, using as the system which has explained in detail in the previous slides. They have tested it in 670 meters of length, and they converted these out of this 670 meters, for 200 meters they have converted and have made a single point of every 10 meters. That is about 20 points which they have made, and for each 20 different points they have tested this that is the efficiency of the DGPS and the efficiency of the V2V communication. All those things were tested for each 10 points or for each 20 points of this 200 meters, and then they have proposed the system, and they have given the accuracy rate and all those is false estimation rate. All those things were given, and I will be addressing it in the further slides.
ಹೇಮಂತ್, ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಪ್ಪ, ನೀವ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ವಿಡ್ತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ.
ಓಕೆ,
ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ PPT ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ದು, ಹಾಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? ಕೇಳಿ, ಇದು ಹೊನ್ನರಾಜು ಸರ್ ಕೇಳಿ, ಅವರು ಅದೇ ತರ ಆದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೇನ್ ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ದೇನೆ.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್,
ಹೇಮಂತ್ ಮಾಡು ಹಾಗೇನೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆಡಿಬಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಎಸ್
ಆಡಿಬಲ್ ಇದೆ ಮಾಡಿ.
Yeah. As I said before, they had taken DGPS position accuracy test as one of the criteria, and then static DSRC communication quality test. This had two different techniques, or communication delay test and packet loss rate test. I mean, while communicating using DSRC communication, there might be delay of communication. In the previous user technology, there might be some 1 or 2 seconds or delay or less than that. What is the comparative amount of delay in this test? To require those results, they had done this test and packet loss rate test. As I said before, the messages, I mean the warning messages were sent from one vehicle to another vehicle, or from the network to the vehicle. All those things were happening. If some of the packet get lost, then the entire warning will be not accurate, or maybe the result may be much more different. If the warning was sent to the driver that to stop the vehicle, if it lost, then the driver may not stop and there might be a chance of accident. So in order to reduce those things, these tests were made. And dynamic DSRC communication test, the thing which I said previous was static thing. I mean, when both the vehicles are static, how it is working. When both are moving, how it is working. They have to test right that. So they have done dynamic DSRC communication quality test also. For this test, especially they have used Toyota Corolla, which has displacement of 1.2 and length of 4.6 meter, and it is used as the remote vehicle. That is the vehicle which is moving, I mean in front of the my vehicle or the host vehicle. And Dongfeng Fengson, which has a displacement of 1.6 L and length of 4.7 meter, it is used as host vehicle. And later on, they had tested this overall system, that is the forward collision warning system trigger rate. I mean, I had said they have considered three different scenarios when there is some 10-meter distance, the trigger has to be made, and driver was to warn that there is a car in front of him. And when it goes further, I mean, when both the vehicles move somewhat closer, then the second warning should pop up that there is a chance of collision. You better hold the brake or change the lane. And the third warning is urgency warning. The driver should take the immediate action. All those things have to be tested. So they have tested this trigger rate also when the scene is RV is keeping still and RV is drawing slowly, and this remote vehicle is slowing down and the host vehicle is moving faster. And then the false alarm test, and I have explained it detailedly in the functional details only. As when there is an vehicle in the opposite lane, that whole system shouldn't trigger the alarm to the driver, so that the false alarm rate will be high. Compared to the previous system, I have also quoted that this system has got false alarm rate is very low, and thus the system is valid to in order to give some potential what you say that potential things or potential improvements or some results. They have tested these things. And these next chapter is result analysis. What I said previous was these were the different tests or different angle of test they were made, and based on those tests they had configured these results. One is influence of distance on DGPS positioning accuracy. As you can see in the graph, it is very clear that the error was I had said that there were 200-meter lane which they had tested it. In those 200-meter of error, I mean testing, the positioning error was um, 0.4 in the 0th meter, and the high was at 120 meter, which was 0.7 meter error. I mean, if the actual position of the car is 10 meter from here, it was the system was showing that as 0.7 error, means that was just 7 meters. It was a matter of 3 meters only. But the previous system, that is normal GPS, which they had figured out, that had got the error of around 4 meters. I mean around four. That is the error. The positioning error was 4 meters. That is, if the position of the vehicle is 100-meter from here, it was just showing 40-meter. There was 60-meter was error. So this DGPS is very better than that, as it costs only 0.7 meter as an error. So they had considered this was one of the valid point to say that the previous system is not better than this. Coming to the next result analysis, influence of V2V communication distance on communication quality. And as I said, communication quality can be measured in the rate of communication delay and packet loss rate. And there is a clear picture which shows that the communication delay in milliseconds was given in the y-axis. It says that in those 200 meters, the maximum delay was around less than 5.5 milliseconds, which clearly says that if the message was sent now, it was delivering only that is 5.5 milliseconds. It was taking that much delay only, not much delay. So we can quote it as it is one of the effective communication. And the packet loss rate was also not very much. There was only 3% of packet loss in average. So it was better compared to the previous systems, which has got much more packet loss rate. Then influence of vehicle speed on communication quality. As I said, they've made three different scenarios when both the vehicles are static, when the first vehicle is moving slowly compared to the second vehicle, and the third scenario is when the first vehicle is slowing down, but the second vehicle, that is the host vehicle, is moving fast only. In all those three scenarios, how was it affecting this communication quality? And it is clearly picturized in the graph that it was around 4.5 in an average of communication delay, and packet loss rate was very less compared to the previous only. It was just 2 point something, around 2% or only loss. This says that it is better than the previous system only. And this table, or they represented the entire result in this table. You can view it. As I said, it is RV is remaining stationary. At that time, the actual speed and the threshold warning and the relative distances are clearly mentioned here. If you see all those things, and the warning threshold was 8.12 meter, when that the speed is 10 kilometer per hour and the warning is 8.12 meters. At that time, the system warns the driver that there might be a chance of accident, and the relative distance during alarm is also 8.01. If you minus these two things, 8.12 and 8.01, you will get 1.11, which is an error. That much only error. You can say that this entire picture or this entire experiment was success comparative to the previous experiments or previous papers, because the warning threshold is also a very accurate, and relative distance alarm was also accurate. And you have seen this communication quality was also good. All those things added up to this experiment that this is one of the effective technology to be implemented in this ADAS. Coming to the conclusion, yeah, this experiment, they have built this forward collision warning system based on experimental platform, which was which was held at Wuhan in those 670 meters. Out of that, they had pointed out 10 meters ahead to inquire or to get a result of those things which I had mentioned previously. This was taken out in order to evaluate the safety and reliability of the system. And these points which I have mentioned are the main things or important things which we can grasp from this technical papers or this forward collision warning system using V2V communication. One is the static positioning accuracy of DGPS can basically meet the requirements of this system. How much amount this system had required some communication delay or packet loss rate, all those things were much enough by this technology. And DSRC V2X communication is a low latency, high reliability communication method with good performance. As I said, this V2X communication has added on this performance by increasing the by decreasing the packet loss rate and also the communication delay. And they have made this experiment by keeping the front vehicle still and front vehicles moving slow, and front vehicle is slowing down, but the rear vehicle or the host vehicle is moving fast. But this algorithm, one of the important points or one of the highlight of this method is that it excludes the vehicle which is coming in the opposite lane, which is the false alarm. Hence, we can say that false alarm rate is very good in this experiment. And coming to the scope of improvement, as I said, it is a step-by-step procedure or step-by-step method which has added on to ADAS from the early 2000 itself. There were various things which is adding on, and I have mentioned here also it is better compared to the previous systems. Maybe in the communication delay, maybe in that packet loss rate, and maybe in that DGPS positioning system. Yes, it is good, but still it has got some improvement that the position accuracy of the vehicle under this is good, but it could be much better if we have tested for further applications, and which is going on now in 2020 also. The next step is to install a radar, and I have said that we can install a radar, this lidar, all those things technologies into these vehicles, and using those sensors we can increase the accuracy of the system. This radar is used to obtain the real-time distance between the two vehicles. Here we have calculating those distance by using DGPS positioning system. In addition to DGPS positioning accuracy, this also can be improved by improving the receiver's performance, or receivers and should also be good enough to perform or to add to this performance. So by increasing this, replacing the DGPS receivers with better performance, we can increase the accuracy of this system. And all in all, the security and reliability of the system application will determine the application level of the connected vehicles. And how to improve the security and reliability system will be our continuous considerations in the future. This is what the exact sentence they had given in the paper, that they are still working on it to increase its reliability, to increase its security. All those things are working out, and this is what the future scope for improvement for that system which they had proposed in Wuhan. And this is all about my research or my reading towards this paper. And I think I had explained in detail about all those things, and these are the references which I could say. I mean, these are the papers which had referred, these 6 papers, and one is regarding those accidents, all those things. I gave the picture that I took from WHO, and these are the other papers which I had got from the different journals. Thank you. I hope I'm clear about the subject, and I'm open for the questions now.
ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಬಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು 40 minutes ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ. ಬಟ್ ನನಗೊಂದು ಡೌಟ್, ಇದು ಡೌಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು 2 ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಸೊ 200 meter ಫಾರ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ದಿ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀರಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್? here they have considered 2 scenarios, ma'am. ಒಂದು ರಿಯಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿನಾರಿಯೋಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಅದು ಪಾಪ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಕುಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದಿ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಈ ಮೇ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಬ್ರೇಕ್, ಆ ತರ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಇನ್ ದಿ ಆಟೋನಮಸ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನಲ್ವಾ?
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು 2 ಸಿನಾರಿಯೋ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ಅವ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ 200 meter, ನಾನು 2 ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯಾವ್ದೋ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ?
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಸಿನಾರಿಯೋನ ಅವ್ರು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಬಂದಾಗ, ಇದು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ನಾನ್ ಕೂತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಆ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಓಕೆ,
ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಅದರ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಅದು ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಹಿಂದೆ ಆದ್ರೂ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಇನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು ರಿಮೋಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಅದು ನೀವು ಬರೀ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೇಳಿದಲ್ವಾ, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರ?
ಅದೇ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಇನ್ ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ ಯಾವ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರು ಅದು ರಿಮೋಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಆಗೋದು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಪೇಪರ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, 200 meter ಗೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇರೋದು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಕ್ಕಪಕ್ಕ
ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಇದು ಹೇಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇದು ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಲಿಷನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕಾರ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಲಿಖಿತ್ ಈಗ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಅಡಾಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಕ್ರೂಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಮರಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಸೊ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇದು ಸೆನ್ಸಾರ್ ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದು ರಿಮೋಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಇಂದ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಹೆಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಲಿಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ
ಸಿಂಧೂರ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವಾಗ ಈಗ ಈಗ ಹೇಮಂತ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರೋ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಅದು ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ರಿಮೋಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಇವಂದು ರಿಮೋಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇವ್ನು ಸ್ಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಹಿಂದೆ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವನು ಸ್ಲೋ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್,
ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇವಾಗ? ಸೊ ಈಗ ಇವನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಈಗ ಇವನ್ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಬೇರೆದೆಲ್ಲ ರಿಮೋಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಿಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಿರೋ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗ ಅದು ಅವನು ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಹೇಮಂತ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಇದಾಗತ್ತೆ, ರಿಮೋಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಇವನು ಹೇಮಂತ್ ಸ್ಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವನು ಸ್ಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್?
ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೂ.
ಬಟ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್? ಗುಡ್
ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ.
ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ.
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಓಕೆ
ಏನೇನ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಇಲ್ಲ.
ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಮಂತ್.
ಎಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಓಕೆ
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.